following is a UTV-44 sports production.
This is the UTV-44 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by Whataburger.
Week 10 of the high school football season and one of the greatest rivalries in Mobile. Tonight we're here at UMS for the Battle of Old Shell Road. The Bulldogs come in ranked number 1 in 4A, defending 4A state champions, taking on their rival up the road, the St. Paul Saints, who are 7-2 and ranked number 9 in 5A. A great night for football. Good evening. I'm Jim Cox and my partner here tonight, Dan Brennan. And Dan, I think both teams look at this game. They understand the importance of the rivalry, but they got bigger fish to fry than this matchup tonight.
Well, and of course, that is the playoffs coming up. UMS-Wright knows all about them and both of them actually have had great success in the playoffs the last several years. UMS-Wright, defending state champion, you can't do any better than that. So they realize they're going to play a team in St. Paul's that is the most physically talented and gifted and deep team they played since McGill back in week 1. So now UMS says, whoa, this is a different animal, right? How far have we come as a team? We'll find out. For St. Paul's, again, getting ready for the playoffs, but you've got to never discount this game. Even though St. Paul's has won the last 3, they realize UMS, very well coached, defending state champions, and especially on this field, know how to win.
Yeah, a couple of players are going to want to keep our eyes on tonight. Let's start on the St. Paul side. Offensive lineman Josh Casher. He's had quite the week.
He's been a busy bee. Josh Casher invited to the Under Armour All-Star game, also committed to the University of Alabama. He'll remember this week for sure. Big guy may also see a little time on defense tonight.
Opens things up for Austin McPherson, the talented running back for the Saints. Austin McPherson, he's going to get chased a lot tonight by Thomas Harmon, the linebacker for the UMS-Wright Bulldogs.
And Harmon is one of those guys. That's an old school football name right there. Tom Harmon, right? But Thomas Harmon is one of these guys that's a great tackler. And again, that's what you expect from UMS-Wright. And they're going to have to be very solid on the defensive side of the ball, especially tackling, getting McPherson to the ground, because I can see St. Paul's coming out in power and challenging UMS. See if you can stop this. If they do, Harmon's in the middle of that action.
It's a great rivalry. The series is tied 17-17, so somebody's going to get the edge after tonight's game. Stick around. Kickoff comes up next. We're here at UMS for the Battle of Old Shell Road on UTV 44. Big rivalry game and big stars coming out tonight. Nobody bigger in the state of Alabama right now than that young man, A.J. McCarron. We saw him play in this rivalry game, Dan.
Yeah, he played it 4 times, in fact, because A.J. was good enough to get on the field as a freshman. Imagine that.
He's here checking out the game tonight as we get ready for this one. UMS and St. Paul's here on UTV 44. UMS will kick off. The Saints will get the football. Excited to see the Bulldogs. Haven't seen them at all this year, Dan.
No, and it's a team that knows how to win. Again, defending state champions. Know how to act in big games. And this is a big one.
Breland Metter. Short, high kickoff bounces. Jalen Thompson takes it at the 25 for the Saints, and he'll get pulled down at the 34-yard line. And let's go down and welcome in Pat Greenwood on the sidelines. Pat.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. You know, week 10, typically we see teams kind of taking it easy as they get ready for the playoffs. Obviously not going to happen tonight in a rivalry like this. 35th meeting between these two schools. Each team has won 17. St. Paul's has had the best of this rivalry the last couple of games, but UMS-Wright matches up pretty well tonight. And they got a Hall of Famer on the sidelines. How about Coach Curtis going into the UMS-Wright Hall of Fame today, huh?
Yeah, 3rd Hall of Fame that he's in, and we'll talk more about that as the evening goes on. Miller Mosley, quarterback, and he'll hand it to Austin McPherson, who bounces it out to the right side. And McPherson, the sophomore, has got a first down. He's up to the 46-yard line for the Saints. Big year for McPherson so far. 1,264 yards coming in tonight with 16 touchdowns. Up front, Josh Casher, the guest on our pregame show. Dan highlighted him just a moment ago as well. The Alabama commit, Whitfield, Thames, Mitchell, and Watkins for the Saints up front. Abrams, wide receiver, but keep your eye on Trayon Tate. He'll go get it. Dog at the tight end as well. And D'Angelo, McPherson, and Mosley round things out. There's Terry Curtis. We'll get into his great run he's had here at UMS-Wright. Double tight end formation. He'll give it off McPherson up the middle. And McPherson will get right up near midfield before Thomas Harmon, who Dan talked about the leading tackler for the Bulldogs. Makes his 101st tackle on the year. Trawick Jackson, Iturbe Phillips, and then you got Tiff Lyons on the outside there. Walker Chandler and Thomas Harmon, who just made that stop. In the secondary, a couple of talented corners. Kendrell Pirine, 4 interceptions. Joel McDowell with 2. And Thornton and Pugh, the safeties, to round things out for the UMS-Wright Bulldogs. 8-1 on the year. They've won 8 straight. Tate goes in motion. They pitch it big, hole for McPherson, and McPherson is going to have another first down here for the Saints. Make that Austin Mosley, who came in to spell McPherson on that one. Nice 1-2 combination to have the senior, his 52nd carry of the year. He's got closing in on 400 yards for the season.
You know, when McPherson comes back in, the thing that caught my attention, first play of the game, when you said they give it to sophomore McPherson, it's like he's a sophomore?
3rd time he's played in this game.
Yes.
Started as an 8th grader.
Amazing. Of course, that was with some injuries, but he's legit.
Mosley will go out of the shotgun, zips it to the near side, and it's Adam Abrams with his first catch and a whole host of Bulldogs there. Wow, that was like almost a open-handed slap to the head that Abrams threw there. We'll see how that shakes off. You don't do that right in front of the UMS bench of all places. And Steve Mask will immediately call Adam Abrams over there. It wasn't a punch, it was just a open-hand slap to the head at the end of that play.
I don't know, you know, where the rules got blurred where you think that's okay.
Unsportsmanlike on the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty. Now remains 1.
That stuff was going on both ways right around the whistle, but then he just kind of upped the ante with the slap. See, the whistle's blowing right about now, so he's, oof. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, Jawan McDowell. So he kind of gave the shove at, so backs him all the way back up to the 45-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 21. It should be second now. It should be second down. Yeah, that was
and it is.
It is. Here we go. McPherson watches as Mosley takes this one up the right side. He'll get back close to the original line of scrimmage here. So he's to about the 47-yard line.
That play call tells you a lot.
Yep.
You know, I mean, they just go ahead and say, you know what, just going to run it again until you stop us. Yeah, 2nd and 20 or whatever. We think we can get some yards just like this.
3rd and 13. That was a big penalty. Abrams back in there to the bottom of the screen. Play action. Mosley rolls out. Looking to throw, fires it up over the middle, and that one is picked off. Kind of hung it up there, and Kendrell Pirine has his 5th interception of the season. Tough throw going against your body to the middle of the field.
Without anybody open.
And McPherson had split out a route. They couldn't find him, and Pirine was all the way back there.
Yeah, Mosley, you know, the dreaded bad decision of throwing against your body. We don't have to get into that. You've heard it a million times. So Bulldogs get the ball, and that penalty played a huge role in that aborted first drive.
So now we'll get a good look at Gunnar Roach, Southern Miss commit. He gives it off to Troy Dixon. You think we'll call that exchange a few times here tonight. Dixon looking to go over 1,000 yards tonight. He's got 779 coming into that up front. Samuel Plash, Hahn, Hollinghead, Williams, and Patterson for the UMS-Wright Bulldogs. Jalen Jones playing great at wide receiver. Dixon, the talented running back. DeAndre Smith, the fullback. Collier and Pearsall. Pearsall will go get the football as well. And there's Gunnar Roach. Quarterback for the Bulldogs. Quarterback into a state championship last year. And 2nd and 9. Roach has that one tipped in the air and nearly intercepted. Is Jalen Thompson, who has 4 picks on the year. Almost had number 5 there. Thingstad, Boyles, Huff, and Carmichael, and Williams, the 2 linebackers really to keep your eye on there. Volkman and Quinley. Hunter Quinley having a great year as well. He's got 4 sacks for the Saints. Jalen Green in the secondary. Thompson, Mezek, and Little. And those guys will go get the football. Green and Thompson each with 4 interceptions, and Mezek has 3. 3rd and 9 for UMS, and now we get a pre-snap penalty.
Who that on?
And you heard Terry Curtis.
Yeah, that was the voice of the new Hall of Famer.
He wanted to know who that penalty was on.
Prior to the snap, legal procedure. On the offense, down remains 3.
And while we get ready for this play, you might notice a voice missing here tonight. Our friend Dick Lockett, our thoughts are with him, passing to his mom, Ada, this week. And we're thinking about you, old number 99.
Yeah, we're thinking about you, City of Mobile, and certainly as his friends and former teammates of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I know a mass email goes out to all former Alabama players when there's a loss like this. So, Vic, I'll see you in the morning.
Yep, I'll be there. We're part of your team, Vic, and proud of it. So
absolutely.
3rd and 14. And give it off to Dixon. Looking to the right side. Dixon goes up in the air, and he'll get to the 20, and that'll be it. So not much for UMS on their first jive.
This is a kid, Dixon, who had a huge game in the opener against McGill-Tulane. In fact, give credit to this UMS-Wright offense. Nobody has done to McGill since what they did in week 1. Scored 35.
You're right. Dixon had been banged up with a gimpy ankle all week, and probably just going to have to be one of those things. It's not going to be healthy until the season's over. Brett Patterson on the punt. Just the 10th punt this year for UMS, and this one's sky high. Thompson will get away from it.
Let it roll! Let it roll!
And UMS will down it at about the 44-yard line. Don't forget you can reach out to us during the game tonight. Send us your questions, comments to heyguys@utv44.com.
You know, it's funny, despite that graphic, we've never actually had anybody pose a question to us by wheeling on us from the stands with a bullhorn and just shouting it out that way.
It is week 10, so
we could see anything.
It's right. So we're hoping tonight is
we might see that guy.
Be that guy. Come on, be that guy. So good field position for the Saints. McPherson with the handoff goes up the middle, and he gets a couple, and the Bulldogs there to stop him. Paul Jackson, one of the first ones in there. There's Mosley again. They do look similar back there.
They look similar. He's a little bit bigger. D'Alonzo in now. So you can have a fullback look. 2nd and 7, and see if they run a little power. It looks like that's what they're going to do. When you see 39 in the game, they're going power. Now, they're going to go to the right.
Yeah, they bring Carmichael in.
See if you can stop it.
McPherson crosses midfield, and he'll stay on his feet. Still on his feet, breaks out of a host of tackles, and he's going to be brought down inside the 15. Austin McPherson breaks a bunch of tackles right at the point of contact there, and then keeps them going.
Yeah, what did we talk about pre-game? And that was, you're going to have to get this guy to the ground. If UMS has trouble doing that, they're going to have trouble doing everything, because St. Paul's obviously has got talented wideouts and can do some things off play action. So
39 yards.
As you see, not an easy guy to get to the ground. Easier said than done.
Juwan McDowell finally brought him down. Treyon Tate split out wide. Abrams comes in motion. Austin Mosley gets to the 10-yard line.
Good tackle by Harmon to minimize the damage.
Had some Thursday games last night. McGill with a big win to keep going. Blunt, Haynes Williams in their first winless season since I think '79. Spanish Fort keeps rolling along there. See, the other games took place last night. Tonight, Greenville at Wilcox Central. Bryant and Daphne. That's a good one on the Eastern Shore tonight. Navarre, Florida taking on Davidson. BC Rain, Mary, G, Murphy, and Viger. We'll talk more about that one in a little bit. Foley and Theodore tonight. Theodore trying to figure out where they're going to finish in their playoff seedings as McPherson gets a couple.
You know, Williamson with no wins, which is amazing. We've been doing this now 14 years, which is amazing too.
Yep.
I think the FCC would have stepped in by now. But when we started out doing these games, Williamson, of course, was huge. And we would often see 8,000 to 10,000 at Ladd People's Stadium for a game with involving Williamson and a Blunt, LaFleur.
3rd and 5, McPherson in the backfield. They'll give it to him, and he'll get a hit and get not much.
They stay home on the on the counter move right there. The motion going right. They bring it back left. UMS stays at home, fights off blocks.
A decision time here for Coach Mass. Do they go for it or they try the field goal? See, everybody was going to the right, as Dan said. Cut it back to the left, and 4th and 5, and the Saints will go for it. McPherson back there. Austin Mosley as well. Miller Mosley, your quarterback. Rolls out to the right. Looking, fires it out of the backfield, and he's able to get it to Mosley. Looks like he's going to have the first down.
Well, they knew exactly what they wanted to do here. Got to drift right, throw right. He had really one guy that he was spying on the whole time there, looking for it. It was Mosley, and it was that or nothing, and they get the first down.
Xavier Carmichael will come in at fullback here to block in front of McPherson. You see Trey Williams lines up at tight end to the top of your screen as well.
That ain't fun on the other side.
They give it off. Austin McPherson drives the legs, and he gets stopped down around the 1.
Well, if you see this guy in a pair of gym shorts, you might get a look at a pair of really solid thighs, because you can see he's very tough to bring down and kind of built thick from the waist down. Great balance.
McPherson again. Over 1,300 yards on the season, 16 touchdowns, 2nd and goal for the Saints.
Trey Williams now flips to the left side. That's the All-American linebacker. Going to help out at tight end. So again, follow Trey, be my guess.
Auburn commit. They go the other way, and then cutting it back is McPherson. He's in for the Saints touchdown.
Nice blocking right there over guard. And after a big run by McPherson, he gets it in position for them to do this right here.
Austin McPherson, number 17 on the year. I think also you look at this game, there's 3:42 left in the opening quarter, and UMS offense has been out there for 3 plays and a punt.
Yep.
Saints have controlled this. Wilson Beaverstock, his kick squirts over the crossbar, but not by much, but enough. McPherson, his 17th touchdown of the season, and the Saints on top 7-0 early in this one for the battle of Old Shell Road. 7-0, the Saints score, and they did it kind of like you talked about in the pregame show, Dan. You thought really, they were going to just tell you stop the run.
Well, here's the factors involved. UMS has got a good defense, but it's a very young defense. They've got 3 or 4 sophomores on the field at all times. St. Paul's with a young quarterback, so if you can go double tight end and just try to mash it with a couple of great running backs, I think that's the first thing you try. We'll see how it goes from here.
Short kick taken Timothy Shaw. Correct, that makes that Hamilton Phillips up the middle to the 41.
We like that guy.
Boy, did such a great job for UMS early in the season. 8 plays, 56 yards, and 4 minutes on the touchdown run there by Austin McPherson to give the Saints the lead. Yeah, Hamilton Phillips, starting outside linebacker, but has filled in at tailback with the injury to Dixon this season. Played great in that Thomasville game.
Quick feet, strong, goes about 190 pounds. I don't know if we'll see him at tailback at all tonight because they need him on defense.
Hayden Williams moves too soon, and 2 series and 2 pre-snap penalties on the Bulldogs. Emotion's a little high.
Prior to the snap, illegal procedure on the offense. The down remains 1.
You would guess that because otherwise you just don't see a Curtis team with those unforced errors like that. And of course, it was an unforced error, maybe a bit of a provoked one for St. Paul's that, messed up their first drive. So penalties have played a role here.
Gunnar Roach averaging 176 yards a game through the air, and Dixon got his feet kind of tangled up there after he took the handoff. Don't forget, you can follow us on Facebook. Search for the UTV 44 High School Football Game of the Week, and you can find us on Facebook. Bryce Huff, the sophomore, filling in for Pate Dickinson, who's got hurt, broken leg, so he's out.
Yeah, I was going to watch Huff and see what he brought to the table, and it looks like he brings a lot. Great penetration. Put UMS now in a 2nd and long.
2nd and 17, and the senior quarterback, Gunnar Roach, pump fake, looks to the far sideline, tries to go for Jones in traffic, and it's up in the air. The official has not made a signal whether Hayden Messick has the interception or not. He was out of bounds, and he was. It's a tough angle to look at. It's kind of far away to get a good look down there on that one. Messick's got 3 on the year. The junior free safety comes over and tracks this one against Jalen Jones, who's got 45 catches this year.
Boy, good break on the ball by Messick. Did you see that, Jim? Playing a great center field. I don't know if he plays baseball, but if he does, stick him in center field, you wouldn't be hurting that there.
3rd and 17. Gunnar Roach on the quarterback draw. Pulls it down, tries to cut back to the middle, and not much doing there. Troy Thingstad, one of the first ones over there to make the stop. Also, Hunter Quinley, yeah.
Yeah, Quinley's already had a good game, by the way. And Thingstad's one of those guys where the light bulb went off, right? We were talking to Steve Mask back before the Spanish Fort game. Big kid with some ability, but suddenly the effort and the understanding is there. 6'3".
6'5", 260.
Yeah, so he's now getting some major college looks.
Better with a good kick. Jalen Thompson will just get away from it. Of course, Trey Williams was in on that tackle as well. We'll probably say that a few more times tonight. Week 10 of the high school football season, all year long. Who's been there for us? Whataburger, our presenting sponsor of the high school football games here on UTV 44. UMS defense, they need to stop here, Dan. They need to get off the field a little bit.
Yeah, they do. Young defense against an offense that has a pretty good understanding of what they're going to try to do. But let's look for some adjustments by UMS-Wright.
Yeah, only 3 seniors on this defense for the Bulldogs. To the 36-yard line goes Austin McPherson. Pat Greenwood.
Well, I tell you, it was in that UMS defensive huddle that last time out. And they're not, the coaches aren't displeased with the effort. They said the tackling's good, minus that one long play, of course, with St. Paul's. But a couple of things, they said, look, we know what they're doing offensively, but you got to play technique football. You got to know, we know what they're doing. You just got to stop them. It's something simple as that. The other thing, and Dan, you alluded to this, 6 offensive plays so far for UMS-Wright. That defense is going to get tired pretty quickly.
Got that second and 1. Mosley gives it off, and McPherson will pick up the first down. What a big hit as he got just across the 40-yard line. Walker Chandler, the sophomore, came over and met the Saints sophomore.
Yeah, pretty good shot on McPherson after he gets the necessary yardage. And again, as you run it, they know right now they got to feel like they've got the run in their back pocket. They're able to win the line of scrimmage, and a couple of very talented backs.
10 carries and 77 yards.
Don't be surprised, a little play action, something to try and find somebody downfield. It would not shock me at all.
Looking on the far side, he's able to get it. Trayon Tate, and he's going to have the first down as in the UMS territory as well.
Best receiver for the Saints, Tate, would you agree?
Without a doubt. 25th catch of the season, over 400 yards. More than 50% of the passing yardage that's gone from Miller Mosley has gone to Trayon Tate this year.
Absolutely. When Mosley is most comfortable, he's thrown it in that direction to Tate. And you could see the Dogs gave him a lot of room to operate, too. They did not want to get beat long, and Tate just curled it in, and he was open by 10 yards.
Another first down here for the Saints as we get ready to close out the opening quarter. McPherson up the middle, stood up there after a gain of 4. Thomas Harmon with a stop.
Yeah, he's all business now. 32. Leads the team in tackles by a good bit, and there you go.
Let's see if the Saints elect to snap it one more time, or looks like Steve Mask will just let the clock run out in a quick moving first quarter here. And we are through one. Ervin S. Cooper Stadium here on Old Shell Road. It's 7-0 Saints. They've got it again. Second down coming up after the break. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Pat Greenwood on the sidelines. Brian Aaron here in the booth with us. Jared Kihos is in the truck as we get ready to start the second quarter. UMS-Wright And St. Paul's with their annual battle. This game going to be a region game next year. Everybody expects St. Paul's dropping down to 4A. Austin McPherson stood up there again. Picks up a couple and third down coming up.
Well, let's check and see what Pat's got down there real quick.
Well, I was listening to Steve Mass during that timeout, and Dan, apparently he's listening to you. He said the same thing that we've been talking about. He said, fellas, they have played, had 6 offensive plays. He said, keep pounding them. And you notice most of the time that St. Paul's offensive line has had a pretty good push, and that's why that offense seems to be working right now.
Also, we noticed on this side that the UMS-Wright defense had a, shall we say, good talking to. They rounded them up, and
3rd and 5, zipped out to the near side, and ridden out of bounds is Mosley.
a little bit short. Decision time again.
Yep, going to be short of the first down. Ball's at the 39-yard line, so it's going to be 4th and about 3. And St. Paul's does not hesitate. And they're going to go for it. Stuart Kirkendall replaced by Stephen Fleming at the wide out.
Play clock's at 10.
Abrams to the bottom of the screen. Treon Tate up top. They put Mosley in the slot. Miller set up the screen. They get it to McPherson out of the backfield. McPherson has got the first down all the way to the 30.
He's dangerous between the tackles. Boy, in open space. Whew.
Well, Terry Curtis hot at the Bulldogs fell for the screen there. Some 5A region standings. Spanish Fort, undefeated top team in the state. They won last night. First time ever in school history. They go 10-0. So see St. Paul's 6-1. Gulf Shores goes to 4-3. And Marengo 25-18 at Gmail wants to know about what teams we think around the state going to make some noise going up against the Mobile teams. This one thrown to the far side and incomplete. They tried for Treon Tate. Boy, I think you look at it, I think a lot of people looking in 5A, and you could have a semifinal matchup down here on this side of the bracket between St. Paul's and also between Spanish Fort. If they were to win out, that'd be a great local matchup. Of
Jackson
course,
could be involved.
Looking at maybe a 3rd round Spanish Fort Jackson matchup.
Yeah.
And then I think from the north, you got Muscle Shoals is the team in 5A, who a lot of people have penciled in to represent that side.
Yeah, and when you go to the very top level, Hoover looks like they are at a different level.
Yeah, another great win last night over Opelika. Close out their season unbeaten. Mosley rolls out, fires to the near side, broken up. Good work back there by Pugh. Kyle Pugh, the junior, able to knock that one away and bring up 3rd down here.
Well, they took their shot downfield on 1st down, Jim, and now they've kind of put themselves in a little bit of a hole now. I don't think you can run power 3rd and 10. You can try it.
Of course, you're in 2-down territory.
You are. That's a good point.
As we've seen. 3rd and 10, and you know there's going to be some adjustments. Defensive guru Don Jennings right over here in the booth next to us from UMS.
I had a chance to congratulate him on his announcement concerning his son down in South Florida.
Yep. On the delayed handoff, they give it to McPherson on the left side. McPherson finds a hole. He's got a first down inside the 15.
That's a good call, Jim. I mean, they can run it on 3rd and 10 because it's going to be 2-down territory when you have McPherson on this counter trap right here. Movement goes to the right, he goes to the left, and you better be in position to get him down. He's already got 107 yards on the night, and we just got into the 2nd period.
You can see why he's so talented. He'll stay in there in the backfield on 1st and 10 from the 15. D'Alonzo, the fullback, into block, and he'll go behind him and then cut it up the inside. He's taking some licks, but Austin McPherson, I mean, he was taking those licks as an 8th grader and didn't back off then.
No, and he's delivering more licks, too. He's up to about 165 pounds, just a sophomore.
I still remember you when he was an 8th grader going up against that Biger defense, one of the meanest defenses we have ever seen in doing these games, and a little 8th grader in there running the football against him.
He needed a doctor's note.
Mosley,
before and after the game,
checks in, and he'll take the handoff, and he looks to bounce it to the outside. Pushed out of bounds there by McDowell. Okay, you mentioned Dan Jennings, newly named general manager of the Florida Marlins.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Local boy done well. So set up a 1st and goal.
You talk about this defense maybe getting a little winded, and you're seeing it now as the blocks are a little crisper. And
Carmichael and Trey Williams in the block. Mosley hit, pushes forward. KJ Trawick, the first one in there to deliver the first hit.
Young Bulldog defense.
Yeah, you mentioned that, Dan. They've got 5 sophomores starting, 3 juniors, and 3 seniors.
Man, it's a lot of youth going against an offense that knows exactly what they're trying to do with some talented people doing it.
That forced 21 turnovers on the year now. Again, the give on the right side. Mosley wrapped up, still pushes forward, but he'll get slung down short of the goal line. And 3rd and goal coming up from the 1. Again, that was Kyle Pugh, one of the first ones in there. Double tight end set coming right at you. 3rd and goal, and they bring McPherson back in. And goal. Miller Mosley. Sophomore quarterback pitches it off. McPherson tried to cut it back to the inside, and he does for the touchdown, Saints.
He is. They went right inside the All-American linebacker / tight end, Trey Williams, who was named to the Butkus, the National Butkus High School Award list, and there's only, I think, 12 of them or so in the nation. He's the only one from the state of Alabama. He was doing some of the blocking right there.
18th touchdown this year for McPherson. He's got 1 from 2 and now 1 for 1. Beaverstock on for the PAT. And it's good. And the Saints extend their lead to 14. St. Paul's and UMS, our Week 10 rivalry game here on UTV 44. Saints up a couple of scores in this one. McPherson's had a great night so far. A couple of touchdowns, his big run set up the first one. And we've seen him do it for the last 3 years, Dan Brennan.
Yeah, that was a really impressive run in the first period. Here's a little counter trey that got him about 11 yards on a 3rd and long, and cuts up inside the block of Carmichael and Williams. They got some of their big guys in there to block and get them in on those short yardage situations.
Steve Mask, 18-5. His 2nd season here for the Saints as Dixon takes it to about the 34-yard line. On the night so far, 115 yards, a couple of touchdowns for McPherson. He's had some good blocking help up front. Pat alluded to that push they've been getting, and then you bring in Carmichael, Trey Williams in front.
Yeah, when you got to have it, they bring in the big linebackers who are very talented players. Carmichael, for a couple of years now, has been already committed to Duke University.
Gunnar Roach, high snap, pulls it down, and Roach is met in the hole there by Carmichael.
You know, we mentioned Carmichael going to Duke, and we had Cash on the pregame, and Steve Mask told us he's a 3.9 student.
Yep.
They do some pretty impressive things at both of these schools, on the field and in the classroom, too.
No, without a doubt. Yeah. Casher, what a joy he was on the pregame show. Just a great, big, fun, gregarious young man.
He's a hoot. I'll tell you, when you visit Mask's office and Casher's in there, you're not sure which one's the coach and which one's the player. I mean, they give and take.
2nd and 6. Gunnar Roach. There's this one out of the backfield and up near a 1st down with his first reception of the night, DeAndre Smith.
Jalen Thompson's a good cornerback, but he ducks his head right here and swings and misses on the tackle.
3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, the Dogs just have not seen a team that looks like this and plays like this since week 1.
You're right. Roach gives it off to Dixon on the right side, and Dixon's got the 1st down, and now some more. And brought down at the 44-yard line. Jalen Thompson pulls him down, and fresh set of downs for the Bulldogs.
Well, they're doing a run blitz right here. They're bringing a lot of people, so if you can squeeze on through that front line, Jim, you got something going, and a good tackle by Thompson against a very dangerous Dixon. Keeps that from being too big a play.
Troy Dixon, just a junior.
We got 3 really good running backs in this game.
Got a Roach, and looked like there was movement. Third pre-snap for UMS. That looks like Chauncey Collier. Tight end jumped. Listen and get the call.
Prior to the snap, legal procedure. On the offense, down remains 1.
Young team, sophomore right there. Not making excuses, but that's just a fact for you.
1st and 15. So the Bulldogs have it right up at midfield. All kinds of time for Roach. Now the pocket collapses, and he'll be brought down for a loss as Thingstad is there to wrap him up at the end of the play. Had some time, good coverage downfield, and stepped up in the pocket, and now it'll be second and very long. Thingstad with his 4th sack of the year. We talked about Terry Curtis, his 15th season here at UMS-Wright. Hey, for all you Terry Curtis aficionados, who was the first team his Bulldogs played as he was the head coach here in 1999, coming over to start things off, and then a little bonus point if you know how the outcome of the game. Gunnar Roach, 2nd and 17, fires it over the middle. That one nearly deflected. I think Trey Williams did get a piece of it.
He did, and some of the fans here crowing for some interference, but the fact is the ball was tipped, so there would be no call on Green defensively, number 3. Watch right here.
I was looking for Grant Barber.
Right.
And there's Trey Williams, 77 tackles, a sack, forced fumble recovery this year, everything. As good a linebacker as there is in the U.S.
Great young kid, too.
Oh.
Again, good in the classroom, delightful in the interview session.
Yep. 3rd and 17, looking to set up the screen. Thrown low, Dixon able to pick it up. Dixon up the sidelines, drops the shoulder at the 45, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 4th and 10.
Hair of the dog right there. That's how St. Paul's was able to pick up a big first down.
I think if this ball's up a little more, it gives Dixon a little time to,
you know what? Yeah.
Might not even made the catch.
Right.
But if he's able to catch it in stride, I think he's able to turn around and look for some blockers.
Get a little bit more, yeah. So they get the benefit of the doubt on the catch.
Terry Curtis, 5-time state champs here at UMS-Wright. 01, 02, 05, 08, and last year, 153 and 39 here at UMS.
The difference we're seeing in these teams, Jim, 1st and 15. 1st and 15 really doesn't bother St. Paul's.
Great kick by Metter, and Thompson lets it bounce, and the Bulldogs, that hit. Should be a dead ball, though, once it was touched there by the Bulldogs at the 1. Great play on the 3rd punt of the night. A great special teams punt. Maybe get a little life going here for UMS. We'll take a timeout. 5:49 left in the first half. 14-0. St. Paul's behind this young man, Austin McPherson. Bulldogs could use a big play from that young man. Tiff Lyons, couple of sacks, interceptions, fumble recovery to block kick this year. They need to get something going over there.
He's the flip side of Trey Williams, 225-pound All-American. Got to tell you about this young guy after this play.
Mosley gives it off. McPherson from the 1 is tripped up and gains maybe a yard. Back to Tiff Lyons.
Well, I talked to Emmanuel King, great player at Alabama, of course. He's defensive line coach here at UMS-Wright. And I said, tell me about your defense. Who do you like the most? He didn't hesitate. He said number 4, Tiff Lyons. Now, understand, let's play right there. Lyons is 5'6", 154 pounds. And Emmanuel said, I don't know how to say it, Dan. The effort that he gives on every play.
They need it. You've seen it over the years. Lots of kids like that from UMS up the middle. Out to about the 7-yard line, and 3rd down coming up here for the Saints. Walker Chandler, the sophomore.
You got the stars that we obviously that jump out on the screen, and you got the The Tiff Lions are really the fiber of what high school football is.
You're so right. They make up 99% of what high school football players are.
Matter of fact, he may be on the other end of it. He may be, the ones in the middle. He's one of those exceptional stories of a guy that just doesn't seem to have the size at all, and yet it's his spirit and determination to keep him on the field.
Empty backfield here, 3rd and 4. And now a timeout taken by St. Paul's.
Well, they've done a good job of taking the air out of the ball, haven't they? And
really
just
have.
Running the clock. Got 4:34 left to go in the first half already. And it seems like every time we look up, the Saints have got the ball and they're handing it to somebody, McPherson or Mosley.
Other local games, Citronette, Gulf Shores. How about Gulf Shores? Coach Blackman did a good job going back to the playoffs this year.
Yes.
Demopolis, who this St. Paul's team will play in the first round of playoffs at Hillcrest, Thomasville, and Jackson tonight. Thomasville, they were banged up early in the year. They're healthy. Keep an eye on them in the 4A playoffs. Coach Mike DeBow is coming in undefeated tonight at Saraland, Luverne team there. Satsuma in Bayside, Leroy in Clark County, John Essex in Monroe County, and Cottage Hill at St. Luke's tonight. Marengo at Excel, T.R. Miller in Sweetwater. That should be a good one. Never underestimate Sweetwater when they step up in a class. They're not afraid to take on some teams.
No.
Milry and W.S. Neal, Keith at Choctaw County, Central Hain, Flomaton, Linden at Southern Choctaw, Washington County at McIntosh, and Florala at Fruitdale. A.J. McCarron down there on the sidelines getting lots of attention.
More importantly, Catherine Webb.
Being shied away by the camera there is 3rd down. On the keeper, Mosley spins forward and
it's close.
On the far side, looks like he's going to have the first down. Miller Mosley keeps this one. Good play by the sophomore there. He's able to slip away from a tackle by Jonathan Thornton.
It's really going to be, he's going to have to play well for them to advance in the playoffs.
Yep.
Young quarterback, you have certainly some pieces around him, but when they play these 5A playoff teams, he's going to have to step up.
1st and 10 for the Saints. Thrown to the near side, Treyon Tate. And good open field tackle there as he's pulled down by Kendrell Piron. Let's go down to Pat Greenwood. Pat.
Well, that was the purpose of that last timeout, is because that was a pretty critical 3rd down play there. Had they not gotten it, you're going to have to punt from about the end zone and give UMS-Wright likely a short field. So you talk about taking the air out of the ball, and I'll tell you what, that 3rd down play was huge for St. Paul's. Whether they score on this or not, the fact that they don't give UMS-Wright a short field.
That's a good point. A lot of people never really take the time to think about that. Just an extra drive to the possession that disallows the other team to get the ball in good field position.
McPherson hit in the hole. Still on his feet, however, and up to nearly the 35-yard line. KJ Trawick there. That's going to be good. Making the 25 good for a first down.
Well, bobble on the exchange, and McPherson gets drilled, and yet is about to bust it again.
Yeah, Trawick, a sophomore. Those two will be banging into each other the next couple of years.
Yeah.
5'10", 234. He's got 4 sacks on the year.
Got 70 pounds on McPherson, too.
Yeah, we talked about as young a defense as we've seen from a UMS team in a lot of years.
It's as young a defense as we've seen this year from a team that is this good.
You're right.
Because they are still ranked #1 in 4A.
Region champions again. Unbeaten in region play. Only lost to McGill. Mosley takes the pitch and scoots to the outside, and he's going to have another Saints first down.
Right behind that power set again. And, that's really a comfort for the young quarterback, isn't it, Jim?
Yep.
He breaks the huddle, and he's got Division I type players out there blocking. Not necessarily that time with Williams, but they went with the power with D'Alonzo.
To say he stepped out of bounds just less than a yard short of the marker.
Even Tate's a big kid, for a wide receiver. He can block. He's got size.
Lanky guy.
6'3", 180.
Mosley looking to pass. There's going to be a holding call. D'Alonzo, the fullback. How about the great one-handed snag there? This holding call is going to be back.
Yeah. But guess who was being held?
Yep.
Mighty Mike, Tiff Lions out here on the outside.
Watch the catch by the big fullback. One hands it in.
Sweet.
Never even used the other hand to touch it.
D'Alonzo's dad was on Mike Gottfried's staff at the University of Pittsburgh.
How about that? So it'll go. Yeah, this is going to take it all the way back to about the 16 on the holding call.
Oh, Frankie D.
D'Alonzo, a junior. 2nd and 20. Coming up here for St. Paul's, and talked about taking the air out. You know, you're down to 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. And UMS just not had the ball much. It's been all Saints. Mosley feeling some pressure, gets away from Lyons, rights himself, and then throws it. There's nobody around there. That's got to be intentional grounding. This was outside the tackle box, but there was nobody around there.
Well, Tiff Lyons has emerged here late in the first half, being his pesky self.
3rd and 20 coming up.
You better be good if you play quarterback and wear number 10 at St. Paul's.
There's some history there.
Recent.
3rd and 20 for the Saints. Mosley looking down the near side. This one up in the air, picked off by Pugh. Pugh picked it off, and then he'll be brought down by Stephen Fleming. Kind of like a long punt, but 2nd interception tonight. And Pugh comes up with his first INT of the season.
This is what they did not want to happen. Fleming did have a step, but this ball just hung in the air way too long. Fleming did not break back on it. And
Pat Greenwood.
To keep in mind as well, UMS-Wright's going to get the ball to start the second half. So pretty good drive here, pretty critical chance to put some points on the board. And, you know, who knows, a touchdown here and a touchdown to start the second half. We got a different ball game.
Gunnar Roach gives it to Dixon. Dixon looking to get to the near edge, and he's to the 41, and they'll mark him down inbounds. Yeah, you're right. They get a score here, they being the Bulldogs, and get the ball back to start the second half.
Trey Williams is such a, you know, you hear the term all the time, sideline to sideline, but is he not?
Wow. I think he missed this game last year with an injury, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he had migraines or something, something like that.
Inside 2 minutes, Roach rolls out, nobody open. Now he comes back and he's able to get his tight end Collier.
A lot of guys that can run and hit in white.
It's going to be a little short of the first down.
They got two really good corners. They got a safety with a nose for the ball. They got Trey Williams. They've got Carmichael at linebacker. There's no picnic trying to move the ball against that team.
3rd and less than a yard. We're down to about 1:20 here in the second quarter. Gunnar Roach on the year. 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's going to keep it. Goes on the right side, and he's got the first down. Roach has run for 135 yards this year. Not afraid to pull it down, especially in those short yard situations.
No, he's a very, very competitive kid.
See that number 14 on that young man. Can't help but think about a 14 that played here, then went to Alabama. Preston Dials, number 14 here, and we saw him. He was with Terry Curtis, actually, and was the one who gave the induction speech for Terry Curtis for the Hall of Fame ceremony this morning. And
how cool is that?
Yeah, so he was there in our pregame show talking to us. Roach looking to go back across the field, floats this one in the air, hangs up. Dixon does not hold on to it. And probably better, it'll stop the clock. Boy, that thing was in the air an eternity.
Well, the kid with the center field mentality again, Mezek, he gets there. He identifies what's going on, and he's able to get there. You're right, the pass was high in the air, but that had a lot to do with the pressure in Gunnar Roach's face. That's a good player right there.
Hayden Mezek Jr.
He's the one they don't talk about. And he's really good.
Yeah, he's got 3 interceptions on the season. Forced fumble as well. And 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs. Roach steps up in the pocket, pressure from the backside, hit and wrapped up and brought down. Just looking downfield, nothing there. And timeout will have to be taken here on 3rd down.
Whew.
There's no 62 on the St. Paul's roster.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost myself. That was great pursuit, good speed, and
Hate it for the young man. We'd love to give him credit for the sack. There's no number that matches up with a 62. Roach did a good job here, stepped up, and then from the backside.
yeah, you know, his eyes were on 20. Williams, why not? So he's not noticing 62 pursuing. We'll definitely get that name for you, but as we look at the Saints roster, that we don't have a 62 on there.
Third and 13. 30 seconds left here in the first half.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, the second and longs don't seem to bother St. Paul's as much as it does UMS-Wright, because they can keep doing what they do.
Roach again steps up, looks, fires over the middle, and a diving catch, and Jalen Jones able to come up with it. He's got a first down for UMS.
That's a great catch, big play, extends this drive. I mean, Roach looked like he was in a world of mess right there.
Good patience by Roach to wait. It's a well-thrown ball.
Yeah.
Jones with his 46th catch.
He's their best receiver, and you see the talent of Gunnar Roach, too. I can't confirm this, but a youngest member of the Breakfast Club, Colton Bradford, says he grew up down the street from Gunnar Roach. And while he was kind of sitting on the stoop drinking a cola, you know, at the age of 10 or whatever, Gunnar Roach and his whole family would be out jogging and running like they were training for a greater purpose. And we can see that it took.
We had him on our pregame show, he being Gunnar Roach, and we said it's just, you know, again, one of those quarterbacks right out of Central Casting.
No doubt.
For a Hollywood. We need the good-looking kid who looks like he'd be the quarterback at a prep school.
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, you, young man.
Yeah, you're
Step forward.
Except this guy can play.
Right. Probably can act, too. Just saying. So, first and 10 from the 21. Getting a little bit the relationship between Steve Mask and Terry Curtis in the second half. Roach looks to the near side, and nearly a one-handed catch as he was trying to look to that one to the near side. And DeAndre Smith, who had a catch out of the backfield earlier.
Well, Carmichael played it about as well as you can, and still you nearly had the catch. You see how well Carmichael can run for a kid well over 200 pounds.
They usually get the linebacker on the receiver there. It's usually a mismatch for speed.
Yeah. Not tonight.
Second and 10. Roach scrambles to his right. Pressure coming from the backside. He one-hands it away. Good job by Roach to get that one off, and it'll be incomplete. He was wrapped up by Bryce Huff. How does he got rid of that one?
This is the kind of play you expect from a kid who's involved in serious training when he's 9. Ready for anything.
Christian Hollinghead, the center, has to come out for a play. Lost his helmet on that one, so third and 10.
Christian Hollinghead following brothers Jordan and Parker.
Yep.
Excellent football players here at UMS-Wright.
Roach into the corner, double team looking for Jones, and it's knocked away. Walter Little was over there along with Jalen Thompson, and that will bring the first half to a close. St. Paul's shuts out UMS in the first half and really controlled the football for a huge part of that first half. And for Pat Greenwood to go over, and he'll catch up with Coach Steve Mask, and Pat is with him now.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Coach, that last defensive stand was pretty big for you guys.
Yeah, Pat, it really was. Going into halftime, we didn't give up a score right there and change the momentum we had. But, you know, we thought we played really good defense on that series, and most of the half played good defense.
Yeah, and really just a dominant performance, offense and defense, for your first half.
Well, hopefully we continue that. You know, field position caused a little bit of problems there late. Give their kids credit for a great punt. But, you know, our game plan's working like we want to. We want to control the ball a little bit, keep them off the field, and then play great defense.
All right, good stuff. Thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it. And, guys, like I said, UMS will get the ball to start the second half. But, man, this has been all St. Paul's, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. And like you said, Patty, UMS had a chance there to score late in the first half and then to get the ball back here at the second half. But this defense holds for the Saints. But we saw a great performance last week. Harry Satterwhite, quarterback for McGill-Tulane.
Another guy with a lot of pieces around him, too.
Wow. Had a great night. I mean, this game was 21-0 behind that young man before we even had a chance to get comfortable at lad.
Yeah, some people were not completely seated yet. And Harry Satterwhite.
Some people were on their way to the game, turned around and drove right back home.
Why not? If you were rooting for the team in blue, I guess so.
Satterwhite played well all night. Led his team to the victory over their rival, Murphy. And at the end of tonight's game, we'll be able to vote on a player of the game. Go to local15tv.com, and we'll have 3 options for you. Halftime here at UMS. St. Paul's marching band coming up next. It's 14-0 Saints on our UTV 44 Game of the Week. Halftime, St. Paul's leads UMS-Wright 14-0. Let's go down and enjoy some Rolling on the River in the St. Paul's band. Peaches and Clean halftime show here from UMS. St. Paul's on top 14-0. Let's get down and enjoy the UMS marching band. halftime score here from UMS-Wright. 14-0, the Saints on top of the Bulldogs and really just controlled that first half, did it on the ground, Dan. Really just didn't give UMS a lot of chances, and UMS had a chance late in the first half, but the Saints defense stiffened.
Well, the Saints are good on the front end, you know, where they're stopping the run, and they're good on the back end where they knocked down a couple of passes late in the half, and of course they're good on offense, and you're right. They basically came out trying to establish the run. They have established the run, and at this point, they don't feel like they've got to do much more until UMS-Wright stops what they're doing.
Take a look at some of our highlights from the first half. This was Miller Mosley rolling out. Did get picked off twice in the first half. This one heaved to the middle of the field, and it was Perine with the pick, but then Austin McPherson, after that long 39-yard run, goes in, scores there, and gets his second one of the night. And then Mosley got picked off here. This was kind of like a punt almost on 3rd and 20. Kyle Pugh comes up with the interception for the Bulldogs. The first half stats, look at that, just 3 first downs for UMS in the first half. They come in averaging 19 a game.
Yeah,
so they kind of like to do what the Saints are doing. They like to get the football, churn it out. So they do that. Just 4 of 11 for Gunnar Roach for 33 yards in the first half. Mosley hasn't thrown it all that much for success either, but it's been McPherson with a big night. 19 rushes, 128 yards. Not a surprise. We've seen what he can do on the ground.
Looks like a game total right there, but it's one half, and you can see Dixon, the stud for UMS-Wright, not finding any room. There's just a lot of studs on this St. Paul's team, and it's tough to find room up front, and it's tough to beat them deep.
You look at McPherson there, and Jalen Thompson, the DB for the Saints, and led their team to the lead here. And this,
you know, that back end too, you got 2 really great linebackers in Carmichael and Williams, and in the back end with Green and Thompson, and now we found what kind of a player Mezek is. That's no joke trying to throw the ball against this team as the Bulldogs make it back out to the field.
Now let's see. You see the Bulldogs have done a lot in the second half. They have outscored their opponents 106-26 coming out in the 3rd quarter.
Wow.
So, you know, a lot of adjustments that take place at the half from this coaching staff from UMS-Wright, and come out and won a lot of games that way, and we've seen them do it over the years. You know, I think as you know, and Pat's talking to Terry Curtis, and he'll give us some scoop, and I would have to think, you know, at some point you just say, hey, we're just down by a couple, and down by 2 scores, and that's all we've got to get back in this game, get one to open up the 3rd quarter, we'll be good to go.
Yeah, it's not a difficult halftime speech, because you are in the game, but the game's going to have to change.
Yep.
I mean, they just have not been winning the line of scrimmage.
Let's hear what Pat found out from Coach Curtis.
Well, I found out exactly what you guys just said, so back to you.
Sorry.
No, really, I just, UMS was late getting back on the field, but Coach Curtis says, yeah, basically, we're not winning the battle up front. You know, they're not being able to get a lot of yards, especially against the 3-man defensive line. They got to get something going in offensively. They get the ball to start the second half. And he says the effort's good. He says, you know, just hang in. It's a 2-touchdown game. But again, they've got to find some way to neutralize that front, whether it be a defensive, offensive side for St. Paul's, because they've been dominating this game so far.
Such a pain in the neck to have 2 experts up in the booth, and it doesn't really leave you with much.
So, you know, I think, I mean, you got to figure out some way, get Gunnar Roach, get a little confidence going, and Dixon's got to bust one off. I mean, how many times has he been held to 19 yards in the first half?
None. And, I mean, he ran for a mile and a half against McGill-Tulane. So that tells you, again, a lot about this St. Paul's talented defense.
All right, we'll take a timeout here and come back, and we'll kick things off in the 3rd quarter. There's Terry Curtis, and we'll see his team get the football first to start things off in the second half. That comes up right after this. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Pat Greenwood on the sidelines, Brian Aaron, our statistician here in the booth, Jared Kihos down the truck. Week 10.
Yeah.
10 weeks.
Week 10, off to the playoffs next week. And first things first, we found out who our man of mystery is on the defensive line. Number 62 is senior Brian Ridgway. They had him listed as 21 in the latest roster we had, but now we got that straight. If he makes some plays in the second half, we'll make sure we get his name out
now
there.
The poor young man, we won't call it at all. It's the second half.
Well,
you know, he had a chance in the first half.
I tell you this, that's up to him.
UMS will get it. There's Gunnar Roach. He's got to get something going against Southern Miss commit.
Yeah, and you can see his talent, can't you? you know, he's able to make some room for himself. He can throw it downfield well. They're just not winning many one-on-one battles blocking or trying to get open downfield.
He's really flourished under Terry Curtis. You got to have it together to be a quarterback for TC.
No doubt. I mean, he coaches his quarterbacks very hard. But it's a tough kid. He's been getting a lot of meaningful snaps since he was a sophomore.
10 region champions, 10-time region champions for Terry Curtis. And how about this? Only 1 year has Curtis not led this team to at least the 3rd round of the playoffs. And 8 times or more, they've gone to the semis or better. And of course, of those 8, 5 times they've come home as champions.
Yeah, and that 1 year, I believe, more than likely was when he was up in 5A.
There's Steve Mask. Well, he came down with Jimmy Perry, who was his defensive coordinator, and Coach Mask has quickly become one of our favorites. He's coached at Bradshaw, Buckhorn, and Colbert County, and he's been a nice addition to the to our group of coaches that we get to deal with here in Mobile and Baldwin counties.
Completely shoot from the hip sort of guy. Get ready for the truth when you talk to Steve Mask.
We've enjoyed.
The truth is he sees it.
Dixon will take it at the 17. Dixon up the middle to the 31-yard line.
Jim, they're going to have to create some room for Dixon, don't you agree? I mean,
yeah.
He's their biggest weapon, and they just haven't been able to really get him going. Maybe some more screens, things to get him in open space, maybe, you know, getting creative in some way.
Kramer Volkman with that special teams tackle for the Saints. And, of course, trying to stay away from numbers 2 or 20 and 24 and everybody else.
Keep on going.
Quick handoff from the near side. And not much room there as Hunter Quinley pulled him down, but he gets across the 35 to the 36.
You know, the guys that are not the big stars of this team, they're good too.
Yeah, Quinley, I mean, he's got 4 sacks on the year, 2 interceptions, forced a fumble, 2 fumble recoveries.
So you've got good football players surrounded by really good and great players.
Yep.
Good combination.
Pick up a 4 for Dixon. Gunnar Roach going to keep it to the near side, and that hole quickly closed up. Gain maybe 1.
You know, I didn't know exactly what we're going to see here in the second half offensively from UMS-Wright, but you knew it was not going to be the same thing. I mean, you keep banging on that cement door, nothing's happening. So they're going to try some things. Roach is a good athlete. Involve him. They just run some power with Gunnar Roach like he's a tailback. Same old, probably not going to get it.
3rd and 4. Haven't seen him go to Christian Pearsall. He's number 8. He's got 30 catches on the year. Give it to Dixon, trying to stretch to the edge, and then cuts it back inside. He's going to be just short of the first down.
Trey Williams pursuing and making the stop on that counter action.
Terry Curtis looks like they're going to get a measurement here. Go for it here this early in the 3rd.
I'll let the guy with the Hall of Fame credentials 3 times over.
Yeah, 3 Hall of Fame rings there.
Yeah, let him figure it out. Less than a yard.
About a foot. Looks like they will go for it.
Well, the problem is you kick it away, you don't know when you're going to get it back.
Yep.
You're down 2 scores. You don't want to invite a problem by allowing St. Paul's to have a short field. At the same time, they've done such a good job moving the sticks, even on drives where they didn't score. Curtis is like, you know, let's go for it here.
Look for a hard count here as well, maybe.
That could be. You know, they may appear to be going for it, and let's just all sit and watch.
Boyles lines up right across from Gunnar Roach. Gunnar Roach on the quarterback sneak. Pushes forward, and I'm not sure he got it. I don't think he did.
No, if that's the spot.
Let's watch. They had brought Josh Casher over, put him there as well. There was some penetration. That was Casher who had the penetration that disrupted it.
There you go. Casher, the offensive lineman who's committed to Alabama. And Trey Williams saying they don't have it. They don't have it. Let's see.
Measure again. Trey Williams is right.
They might have gained 3 inches, and that was it.
Terry Curtis not happy with that, but how about the charge up front by the Saints? And you mentioned it in the pregame. You said, hey, they'll bring Casher over on defense when they need it once in a while. And he's the one who penetrated in and hit Gunnar Roach first. He didn't make the tackle, but he's the one who hit him first and drove him back.
Well, they take their 4 and 5 stars, right? And they use them on the other side of the ball when needed.
Yep.
Williams on offense, Casher on defense. Pays off right there.
They'll pitch it to McPherson. And Pugh was in there to make the tackle. They wanted a block in the back call. Nothing doing but a gain of a couple.
You know, this really shows you, Jim, just how good Spanish Fort is.
Wow, you're right.
Spanish Fort came to St. Paul's and won going away by 3 touchdowns. You don't see, this St. Paul's team doesn't look like anybody that would lose to 3 touchdowns to anybody else by 3 touchdowns.
Mosley rolling out. Lyons with pressure, fires it. And complete for the first down on the far side.
They're not asking Mosley to do too much, Jim. They don't have to because of the success they're having, but he's growing up a little bit.
Look at that again. I'm not sure Tate was actually in bounds when he made that catch, but the official right there says he was. And let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mosley looks like a much more confident kid than we saw a few weeks back against Spanish Fort, but again, that was against really good defense.
They overload the right side, and McPherson takes it down to about the 26-yard line. And this St. Paul's team, we talked about, you start to look and say, okay, maybe that third round you get a McPherson. That is one thing they cannot have.
No. Well, they let the toddler get up and walk back to the bench by himself because they didn't come out and baby him at all.
Bring in Austin Mosley, and he's hit right at the 25-yard line.
Reminds me of parents when they've got a little baby and you tell the parents that it's their first baby, and every time the kid spills, it's, oh, my goodness, and they go rush to get him and everything like that. And the 4th kid along, it's like, he'll be all right.
What number were you?
Number 5.
I was 4. Yeah, I was 4. Yeah. And we got through it.
We got through it.
And you look at Austin McPherson over on the far sideline.
Are they stretching him out? Is that what it is?
You hope it's just a cramp.
Okay.
3rd and 4 for the Saints. Mosley with Tip Lyons knocks the ball loose. Wow, there's Tip Lyons coming on the blitz, and that'll be his 3rd sack of the season and his 2nd forced fumble as well.
This is Emmanuel King's guy. Boy, I'll tell you, shot out of a cannon right there, number 4. 5'6", 154, but likes to play football.
Wow, and you see how close that could be. Pick that one up, return it the other way. And the Saints will punt. Pat Greenwood.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Well, good news is that Austin McPherson is walking on the sidelines, which is good. They were looking at his left ankle. It was tough to tell whether it was a cramp or not, but it looks like maybe he just got caught in a pile, but he is starting to put some weight on it, so that is a good sign.
Line drive kick. Grant Barber grabbed it, then dropped it, and he's back at the 6-yard line, and the Bulldogs will have to go 94 yards, but
how in the world does Barber end up with his football? Watch this. Oof. Well, the second time he was able to hold on, that's how it was, but he really got drilled after the drop.
Lackinger with his first punt of the night for the Saints. Roach gives it to Dixon, and Carmichael meets him at the hole, and no gain on the play.
This is a good tune-up for the Saints, right? Playing so well in a big game. UTV 44, getting ready for the playoffs.
And hopefully we'll get a chance to see the Saints in the playoffs as well. And again, you know you're going to see a team, not going to see a team any more fundamentally sound than the one you're going up against tonight. And A lot of teams will also look at this game film and see just what the Saints can do.
Yeah. Saints awfully well coached, too.
Got a Roach out of his own end zone. Sets his feet. That one's knocked down as Carmichael was right there, and that's an incomplete pass. And Roach almost instinctively caught the pass, which would have been disaster.
And also a safety.
Watches. Carmichael is there.
What good shot right there. Carmichael's got some length on him, huh?
6 foot even, 210, those long arms.
Yeah.
66 tackles coming in tonight. Second most on the Saints.
Oh, if he's going to be a safety or a linebacker at the next level.
3rd and 10. Roach fires it, looking for the crossing pattern as he wanted to get Christian Pearsall. And they say he's got it at the 21.
That's a big-time play right there.
31st catch of the year for Pearsall. We said we'd not called his number yet.
Yeah, you can picture Gunnar Roach in a sling-it-around offense, can't you?
Yep. Does a good job to get his feet set, get underneath them, too.
Got a strong arm here. You know, a lot of pressure and still, boom, look at it. Right, well,
Oh, wow.
little short.
That's a one-hopper.
Move the sticks. They missed a couple of those tonight.
That one at the, so out to the 22-yard line.
Of course, if you and I were refereeing this game, they'd say they missed them all tonight.
Roach spins away, goes up, and Thingstad will pull him down the 25-yard line. 5-man crew here. You see either a 5-man officiating crew or a 7-man. We see 5 here tonight.
Thingstad having a good game this evening.
Boy, he looks good getting off the bus.
He looks the part, doesn't he? We were watching him in the warm-ups as we were getting ready to get on the local 15.
Roach again to Dixon. Dixon hit in the backfield. It's Thingstad again who disrupted that one.
Yeah, he's just winning at the line of scrimmage. Pretty much across the line, they're winning at the line of scrimmage. This is a big guy, 6'5", 260. And they just didn't know how good he could be. And I don't know that he knew how good he can be. And guess what? His senior year came around, and suddenly they were looking at a different player altogether. And probably going to earn himself a, I'm sorry, his junior year. Even in the spring of his sophomore year last year, Jim, they were still kind of unsure of how much he could help them this year.
Roach tried to pull it down, and we get tackled by Brian Ridgway, the number 62 that we didn't know in the first half, so I'm glad we got that.
Yeah. The man of intrigue.
Again, nothing downfield. We talked about the secondary that's strong of the Saints is also there to help out was Bryce Huff, the sophomore.
Well, with Ridgway, it made it my duty at halftime because he was making so many plays in the first half.
You went over your texting data limit with all the texts that you sent out.
Trying to send it out to my St. Paul's contacts, and we got a winner with Christy Logan.
Metter. Good punt. And Thompson gets away with it, and it rolls to the 44-yard line. 4 minutes to go in the third. UMS come back out on defense. Here's the Saints, ranked number 9 in 5A, have the lead 14-0, and they've got the ball back coming up after this. St. Paul Saints on top by a score of 14-0 over the UMS-Wright Bulldogs. St. Paul's next week going up against Demopolis. First round of the playoffs. UMS has got Hanley. There's Gunnar Roach and his teammates over on the UMS sideline, but Miller Mosley coming out here, gives it off, and that's Austin Mosley, the senior running back. The Saints have won the last 3 matchups against UMS.
Decisively.
And again, this is Pat alluded to, 35th meeting between the two schools. Straight up 17-17. Second and 6. They give it to D'Alonzo. He will push the pile forward, just a yard short of the first down. Old Frankie with his 7th carry of the season.
Looked like a minivan with square tires, just making its way long, not quickly, but strong, tough.
He's just a junior as well. Hey, and our trivia question, Terry Curtis, 15th year. Can you guess who he opened up against?
1999, UMS-Wright, I think, was a 3A team at that time.
Yep, and they went up against 6A Fairhope, and they beat them 35-13.
Wow.
They went on to win the 3A region championship that year, lost in the 3rd round. And that was the UMS people thought, we might have something brewing here on Old Shell Road for the future with this guy as the head coach.
I remember the second year we had Terry on a pregame show that we had, or a Wednesday show that we had back in the day, that we would have coaches on that weren't even necessarily involved in the game of the week. But I remember Terry was on, and when we asked him point blank, how many of your players on this UMS team could have started for you at Murphy? None. That's what he told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And they went on, that was his second year there, and he did not win state that year, I believe.
Yep, 2001. So
2001, so it's 3rd year, okay.
Yep. And Terry Curtis also one of the very early proponents of high school football on TV.
Yep,
he was one of the ones leading, saying, come on, we
promote the kids.
Illegal procedure on the offense. It's 5-yard penalty. It's got 1st down.
Well, I think it's just, and our opinion is going to be obviously pro, but, it promotes the kids. It grows the sport. It allows folks who are shut in or because of poor weather or poor health to watch the games.
And there's just more interest now. There's way more interest.
I think there is.
And especially when you get the plethora of Division I talents we get here in our area. Why not show them off? 1st and 10 for the Saints at midfield. Mosley, the left side. They get 1st and 15 after that penalty, and Mosley will get about 7.
Again, they're kind of tipping their hand at this point a little bit, offensively. They're not trying to trick anybody. Running behind D'Alonzo and tight ends, and there's McPherson, who I don't know if it's going to be necessary for him to come back in the game or not.
They're re-wrapping that ankle. Let's get down to a minute and a half to go in the 3rd. Trey Williams in at tight end again. Fire to the near side. Treyon Tate's got it for the Saints, and he's got a 1st down inside the 30.
10's growing up, I'm telling you, and he's going to be a key. You can win some games during the regular season and have a young quarterback who's just trying to feel his way. Once you start getting deep in the playoffs, you need your quarterback to play well at the 5A level.
Yep.
He's playing well.
Player of the game after tonight. We'll give you 3 nominations to choose from, and we'll talk about them next week during halftime during our first week of the playoffs. McGill and Opelika here on UTV 44. Troy Dixon. BJ Edmonds coming in.
I know in the pregame we were sitting there, we were discussing a number of games that could possibly kick off our playoff coverage. And like you say, the football's so good. The matchups are so intriguing. Could be McGill. We'll see.
Second and 11. Now McPherson back in there, and now some movement.
Yeah.
Front on the St. Paul Saints.
Left guard jumps a little bit. That's Mitchell. It's a shame, right? They're blocking their tails off all night long, and the first time we talk about Henry.
Mitchell says, I help Austin get, over 100 in the first, and now you're going to call me out for the movement. It's just the life of a lineman. It just goes with the territory. Second.
It's pretty cool 16. That the St. Paul's band joined with the UMS-Wright band at the end of the halftime ceremony to kind of
patriotic music.
Yeah, right. A little tribute to America and the troops. We had a little spill.
Pearson, play action to him, rolling out. Mosley now, he wants to pull it down. Looking for a block and steps out of bounds at about the 27. Mosley was looking downfield the whole way, and D'Alonzo, he was calling for it. He made the great one-handed catch earlier. Came on trying to get a block on Pugh there.
Frankie D's made the catch tonight.
He has. Maybe the catch of the week.
It was pretty darn good. Went for 4 yards.
3rd and 11. Don't taint it.
I know his dad, really good fella.
Treon Tate up top. Abrams to the bottom of the screen. He'll look Abrams' way. Gets it. What a hit delivered as Abrams, as soon as he caught that one, Kendrell Perine with a big lick in his last UMS St. Paul's game. And that will bring the 3rd quarter to a close. Perine, this was louder than the horn to let everybody know the 3rd quarter was over. Abrams, good job to hold on to it. Perine with a big hit for the Saints.
It looks like it hurt from any angle.
On top by a couple of scores, and they're driving again. We'll start the 4th right after this.
There you go, because the Abrams family just can't get enough of that highlight.
Kendrell Perine, senior quarterback, with a big lick there on. That was 4th and 3. And the Saints will go for it from the 20. Austin McPherson behind Mosley. Treon Tate goes in motion. They pitch McPherson, and McPherson falls to the 19. It's going to be short of the 1st down. So UMS defense comes up with a stop on 4th and 3.
Boy, they you know, Terry Curtis said at halftime, it's really true. They have played hard. Numbers are against him a little bit with some of the size advantage and all-star abilities of the Saints, but Bulldogs still hanging in there. It's still a 2-score game.
Yeah, and you know, somebody, before I get to the email, Pat Greenwood.
Well, Dan, I was just going to say the same thing. I mean, you look at what UMS has done, the fact that St. Paul's can't seem to put them away now. Here's the question. Troy Thingstad, number 70 on that St. Paul's defensive line. Can they find an answer for a guy at that size?
Gunnar Roach spinning,
you know,
and dropped.
Here's the question, really. Can they find an answer for any of them? Now a flag comes out and things get a little chippy down there. St. Paul's just needs to go back to the huddle and after a loss like that, but at the very end you got Trey Williams and other friends, and so it looks like it may be on UMS-Wright, but it's a long evening for Gunnar Roach.
Frustration probably as well.
Again, we talk about all these all-stars on St. Paul's. Some of the guys we don't talk about as much, they're really good players too. Look at Williams just kind of following him like a magnet.
It's against UMS-Wright at the end of the play.
Yeah. Let's see if we're going to get an official call here.
Back it up to the 9-yard line. Hey, Gordon Mose has emailed in and he says, do you guys think UMS-Wright will repeat this year? And then in all capital letters, he says, I think they will. I mean,
I don't, you know what? I wouldn't put it in all caps. I've talked to some coaches.
Give to Dixon.
It's a young UMS team. Okay, you got the senior quarterback, but they're young in a lot of other spots. And there's some pretty good teams in 4A here in the South. And sometimes we let that state championship from a year ago over-influence you. We let the fact that they are ranked #1 maybe over-influence you a little bit in terms of trying to size up just how good they are. They're going to have to work for it, I'll tell you that.
3rd and 18. Roach flips it out to Dixon, looking for the first time tonight to get some space, and he's going to be short of the 1st down. But boy, we've seen them. How many times we've seen this UMS team? They just turn it on to a different level in the playoffs.
They do.
They really, really do. But I mean, there's also, you look just within the region. You know, you got a Thomasville team that was banged up earlier in this year. They're getting much better. But like so many times, also, UMS 8-1 at this point of the year. They only lost to McGill. They find a way to win those games through injuries and everything else.
I mean, they've got great resolve. They've got great coaching. You know, you know that Dixon's going to have some big games in the 4A playoffs, unlike tonight against this 5A defense.
Patterson with the punt. Thompson back at about the 32-yard line.
I'll conclude that thought by saying I think they've got a puncher's chance. I don't think it's one of those things where you just say, they ran the table in 4A during the season, therefore. I don't think it's that way at all.
More of our friends who bring you high school football here on UTV 44. Encore saw Paige Plash down there on the sidelines before the games. We thank Paige and everybody at Encore and also Greer's since 1916.
Well, you got a UMS name and a St. Paul's name side by side.
Austin McPherson, he's got some room. There's a flag thrown. This one's going to come back, and McPherson all the way up to the 45-yard line.
That's about the one thing that can bring him back tonight is a holding call right on the edge.
The 43, so that'll bring him all the way back to the 33. And Kendrell Perine is a little slow to get up. Stacey Harrelson out there. Boy, the UMS fortunate to have a Stacey Harrelson who's taken care of so many young men over the years here.
Yeah, he's really good at what he does. Perine's in a good bit of pain, and it's almost like, you know, he was all excited after that big hit. But with this big physical and fast St. Paul's team, you don't want to over-demonstrate your exuberance, because if they begin to target you, you're going to feel it. Not that's what happened, but they came that way, and he got mauled.
So that's good.
Good to see him up. Good to see Gunnar Roach over there. You see what a leader Roach is, too.
Down to 10.5 minutes to go here in the third. Roach. We were talking to him in the pregame show about the whole face mask incident during the state championship game last year.
You got that thing mangled where really much of the game it was not much protection at all.
Mosley looking to pass. Waits out nearly. As it intercepted as Jawan McDowell stepped in front of Trayon Tate. And that one would have brought the UMS crowd to their feet in front of us.
Yeah, whatever Mosley was looking for here initially simply wasn't there. And then he started feeling the pressure. And then he makes a poor decision right there. And McDowell's a good enough athlete to make him pay. And again, that's what I'm talking about, the play of the quarterback. Once you get into the playoffs, Jim, you're playing all good teams. He's going to have to be solid.
2nd and 11. They'll overload the right side, and UMS shifted to try to match their overload.
Big Whitfield, I believe, 72.
Against Saints, so now we'll go to 2nd and 16.
Trayon Tate trying to implore his guys to focus and do the little things. They're looking to get the play in. Play clock down to 12, and I think they're going to have to call a timeout.
Yep, the Saints do take a timeout with 10.5 left in this one. Saints on top, 14-0, all scoring the first half. Steve Mask unhappy over them. I think just what you were talking about, what Trayon Tate was alluding to stay focused. Keep the focus.
Yeah, you're seeing now errors of concentration. That's the last thing you want to see.
C-Spire Wireless. Hey, be sure to check out cspire.com/football. Really great behind the scenes there, beyond the sideline. We've got the behind the scenes look at what it takes to put on one of these games up there now, and what everybody does to get ready for the games. United Rental is also proud to be a supporter of high school football here on UTV 44. Those fine folks.
I'll tell you, because of this incredible crew we've got, you know, we hear it more and more about folks watching the games, not just watching but enjoying it, and it's got so much to do with the production value and all the preparation that goes in by a crew a week ahead of time, and then the day of the game, they're here long hours.
2nd and 16 from the 27. Mosley dumps it out of the backfield. McPherson to the 33-yard line.
How many times have you seen McPherson go down on the first tackle?
Yeah, not been many tonight.
No. You know, that there's a competitive edge to this kid. that really jumps out at you tonight. Aside from the fact he's a talented running back, he is a tough hombre.
Going to have a chance to be the all-time leading rusher in St. Paul's history. The great seasons he's already turned in. 8th grade, freshman, sophomore. 3rd and 11. Mosley fires this one up, able to get it to Austin Mosley, and Mosley has got the first down for the Saints. That's up to the 46.
First time we've seen that. And that's what I was talking about, UMS. Maybe get creative, do some things we haven't seen, like a middle screen and stuff like that. Well, the Saints draw it up right here, and it works. You see the lineman downfield to help clear the way for the middle screen, and another talented back, the senior, Austin Mosley, gets it from the sophomore quarterback, Miller Mosley, and the Saints move the sticks, and the clock rolls.
Fresh set of downs. That's the 15th first down here tonight. And Austin McPherson will pick up 8 on that first down carry.
He empties the tank on every carry.
152 yards tonight.
He just sells out every time he has the ball.
Yeah, and he's not, like I said, not a huge young man.
Huge heart.
160.
Yeah. He'll get bigger. See the build from the waist down. You see those thick legs that allow him to drive.
Mosley, play action, rolls out to the right. Lions will give chase. Trawick there as well, and Mosley will just step out of bounds as he picks up another first down for the Saints.
You see the kid's not slow, too, right? So if he gets in a little bit of trouble, that's why I think these games are so important leading up to the playoffs for him. You can just look body language-wise, Jim. You know, he just looks like, okay, this is my team. I get it now. I know what to do. I know how not to make a mistake. That's going to be so important in the playoffs.
Yeah, didn't start the season as the starting quarterback and then forced to grow up on Friday nights.
Yep.
That's a tough chore.
No, he didn't know it was going to be his job. And then they had a young man that did not work out, and suddenly he's thrown the keys to the car and doing pretty well.
Mosley spins forward and will pick up another 8 on first down here.
It's like a drum beat, isn't it? Just pound, pound, pound.
But, you know, also the St. Paul's team has continued to get better each week. That's what Steve Mask was telling us in the pregame show, really improving each week. And then you get to the playoffs, and starts up next week against Demopolis. Mosley up the middle, and he's got the Saint first down, still on his feet. Tiff Lions will bring him down there. And the clock continues to work from inside 8 minutes here. This is what we've watched all game long, whether it's Austin Mosley or McPherson.
Yeah, a lot of drive, quick jab step into the line of scrimmage. And again, I'm still, you can't help but be impressed with the grit of UMS-Wright, Jim, because they're really outmanned. You know, at most positions, you see Lyons giving everything that he's got in the tank, too.
Up the middle goes McPherson to about the 21-yard line.
It was our pregame show, Jim. We're talking about this game and how it leads to the playoffs. And I was saying, you know, they're not going to see another animal like this in 4A.
Yep.
They're going to see good 4A teams, but they're not going to see anything like this team that is dotted with some very good players and some very, very good players. And skill position, line of scrimmage, you name it. That's why they're going to have a fighter's chance to repeat.
McPherson up the middle and another first down to the 14-yard line. There's big Josh Kasher leading the way up front.
Going to Bama. Yeah, talking to Steve Mask early this week. Said if you end up again against Spanish Fort, can you beat them? He said, well, you know, you never know. You don't know exactly what kind of team they're going to be at that point of the season, or what kind of team we're going to be. Injuries, or who grew up and who did not. But I think he feels like, you know, they're up to the task.
Mosley pull some defenders inside the 5. You know, everybody's one key injury away from their season not going as they expect in the playoffs.
You're right. But, you know, the Spanish 14 we've seen has been good from the preseason to now.
First 10-0 season in school's history. Big hit at the line there on Mosley. That'll bring up 3rd and short. Jackson got in there to make the stop. And 3rd and less than a yard. And Mosley just in no hurry to snap the ball here. Overload to the right side. McPherson goes that way. And he's going to have the first down. It'll be 1st and goal coming up for the Saints.
Well, you know, I'm very impressed with UMS-Wright. I mean, you know, this is when you usually see a big hole in the guy walk in for a score.
Yep.
And they have taken the punches and certainly pushed back, even on this drive where it's been a grind-out drive. No quitting the dogs. Not looking at the scoreboard.
McPherson on the left side. He's in for the touchdown.
Number 2 is a lot to handle.
3 touchdowns tonight for McPherson, and Saints may have just salted this one away with the score here. And Terry Curtis was telling us before the game, said, you know, McPherson, he gets back there behind Casher, and he looks small, and you kind of lose him for just a half a second, and then next thing you know, he's blowing by you.
He's blowing by you, or he's laying a shoulder on you, and you're in trouble.
Beaverstock with the PAT, and it's 21-0 St. Paul's. Inside 5 to go in the 4th. Last week of the regular season here on UTV 44. Ervin S. Cooper Stadium on Old Shell Road. That young man, he's never lost to UMS while he's been in the backfield for the Saints.
Like that, yeah. 3 seasons, 2 more to go. A guy that's had a big day, being inducted into the UMS-Wright Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Mobile Hall of Fame, Alabama High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame, and now the UMS-Wright Hall of Fame. And
not much left.
First ballot on all of those. Short kick taken by Collier. Collier, the big tight end. Move it up to the 43-yard line. Look at that. 14 plays, 68 yards, almost 6 minutes, almost half of the 4th quarter by the Saints there. And, but, you know, they've not been big. You know, you had the one big 39-yard run. It's just been grinding it out.
Do the math right there.
Yep.
You know, 68 yards in 14 plays. That's just chunk by chunk, little by little. But Mosley, the quarterback, McPherson, the running back, and both sophomores.
Roach fires it off. Jones with a spin move, and that produces nothing. As he had Williams, Thompson, Carmichael, and Quinley all over there for the Saints.
Yeah, it's like a law firm that can run 4-5.
Give him 3 on the forward progress. High snap. Roach pulls it down. Bobbles now kicked by Dixon and recovered by the Saints and picked up by Quinley. Quinley's got it. Quinley in for the touchdown. Hunter Quinley, 38 yards. The junior with his second fumble recovery. It was just a high snap, and then it came down. The timing was off. Dixon dropped it, and Quinley picks this one up.
Yeah, the high snap threw the timing off. We say that all the time, but it happened in disastrous measures here. There's Quinley, who we've talked about. Not one of the big stars, but certainly a very, very fine player.
The linebacker's saying, I need a little oxygen over there after that long run.
But he wasn't expecting that sprint, was he?
He's never enjoyed being exhausted more than that one. And Beaverstock will take dead aim at the UTV 44 camera.
They always do.
And he's got it. And the Saints score a defensive touchdown here to go on top 28-0. St. Paul's impressive here tonight against their rivals. Look at that young man, Hunter Quinley, just picked up that fumble and rumbled 39 yards for the touchdown. And Trey Williams, and we talked about Trey Williams and Josh Kasher we had on the pregame show, and Gunnar Roach and some of the other young men we've had. It's just so great when you get to know the kids. That's what I love about our pregame show.
Yeah.
The 30 minutes.
And not just for us, right?
Yeah, because everybody gets to see underneath the helmet.
Yep.
You get to talk to the kids. You get to see Kasher cutting up and just how excited he is about what he's got coming in front of him.
Well, he's held up his end of the deal, 3.9 in the classroom going to Alabama.
Dixon all the way back to the 5. Dixon hurdles. And he's up to the 27-yard line. There are a few of these options here. The scholastic athlete between these two schools. St. Paul's Amy Broswell, who is also up for the Anna Broswell, also up for the Wendy's High School Heisman Award for academics. Senior 4.4 cross country. Future plans. She's got offers: Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, LSU, Texas, Texas A&M, Yale. She's going to go into petroleum engineering.
Wow.
And
A&M be a good place for that.
Congratulations
She runs into Johnny Football out on campus. Tell him to calm down.
Anna. So yeah, petroleum engineering. Her degree now on the UMS side. Christian Pierce, we saw him with the catch here tonight. 4.3 football, indoor track and field, National Honor Society, among others there.
May I help him out a little bit? 4.38?
Yeah.
That's something.
So good for Christian, and congratulations to those two scholastic athletes. This week is Michael Matthews with the carry. Hey, whenever we're doing a UMS-Wright game, it seems like we always get somebody texting watching the game. It's always Michael Liedl, and he's been watching these games probably since we started doing it.
Yep.
Might remember he has some strange rituals he goes through on Fridays, on game days, before on UTV 44. Today, while getting ready to get his game face on,
right?
3:45, his appointment, back waxing. And it lasted until 6:30. And then he was able to get there and watch the UTV 44 pregame show. And
well, I haven't had the pleasure of stretching out at the beach with Michael, but I'll take your word on that.
And he has to do it in the off season. It's not even beach season. So, if he didn't do it, can you imagine what the spring session would be like? The sun comes out and it's time for that. So we appreciate Michael watching the games each and every week here. Also like to say Warren Butler. I know he's watching the game. Hello to Warren, and the Buffkins all enjoying the game tonight. So lots of families get together to take on these games on a Friday night here on UTV 44.
We'll talk about the playoffs coming up.
Gunnar Roach pitches to Matthews, who gets introduced to Trey Williams in a big way.
Yeah, Matthews usually gets to meet the running back no matter what his name is. Well, Williams does, and just the size of him, man, and sideline to sideline. And Mask, I know, is really happy with the defense tonight. And I still saw a lot in UMS-Wright in terms of how hard they play, and obviously physically outmatched tonight. That became apparent on.
Like, and you said some of the things we were talking in the break, said, some of these things you see here tonight, they'll make that block in 4A.
Yep.
They'll break that run in 4A.
And you also see their spirit doesn't get broken. So, when the games are tough in 4A, they played, right? They played McGill.
Yep.
They're ready.
I think, and Terry Curtis has talked about, he's all about, it's about what happens in the playoffs, saying, I want to play teams like this. He said, teams who schedule a lesser opponent in week 10, he said, I just think that's dangerous ready to go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
He said, and sometimes people, well, what about getting hurt? And Coach Curtis has always said, you can get hurt in any, So, again, it's just a way to wrap the season. I think the other thing that they've done is, I don't want to say that they've de-emphasized the winning of this game, but, you win 5 state championships, you realize there's
exactly
to it.
Exactly.
Pat Greenwood.
I got to give Vandy credit on this one. Look at the St. Paul's jerseys. There's a lot of clean jerseys out there right now.
No doubt.
Last 2 minutes of the ball game.
Yeah. And should be.
Yeah.
Everybody in is Stephen Fleming now at quarterback. And talk about the respect between the two programs, you know that. But Steve Mask and Terry Curtis, Terry said there's not really hardly a day that ever goes by that we don't text or talk to one another. Long-time friends. Coach Mask up from the North Alabama way, Muscle Shoals, and they just said, we've been longtime friends. They go on a little retreat each year with a bunch of coaches get together. And
have for years.
Yeah, long time. And it's just really a great friendship. And before Coach came down here to join Jimmy Perry's staff, talked to Terry Curtis a lot about, hey, what's it like coming down there and those things. So, just a great friendship. We were standing there between them before the game, and it was just like you would thought they were on the same.
Yeah. And a lot of respect between the programs. They're probably going to compete with each other in the region next year. The word is that St. Paul's will probably drop down to 4A.
Yep.
Just to kind of give you all a heads up, you've been used to watching the Friday night football games on UTV 44. That will not be the case in the playoffs. That is an Alabama High School Association rule, but you can watch them on Saturdays, the replay.
Yeah, it'll be on Saturdays, and you can't show the games live. 4 rounds of the playoffs. State championship games are live.
They are live.
You can see those. Weeks 1 through 10, they're live.
They're all live.
First round, second round, semis, quarters, semis.
You have to watch on Saturdays.
You have to watch on tape delay. But, the good thing is most people don't know the outcome by that point.
We'll play within the rules. Maybe change. But the spectacular weather we've had here tonight with the
all season.
Whatever was the rain they talked about really didn't douse us too bad overnight, and sun came out by 11 o'clock, and beautiful night for a game.
Saints will take a knee here on 3rd down, and they will finish up the year 8-2, as will the Bulldogs. And Vania Kai doing that great job for us down on the sideline. Ethan Hadley, the grip for Vania.
Has
right
been for years. Has been for years. Those two guys have worked in tandem.
Sibley right outside our door here.
Yeah, he's a cage fighter as well.
Exactly. Bouncer.
Right.
Great guy in the editing booth. And Rodney Middlebrooks behind the camera. Come on, Rodney, poke out. Give us a little wave, Rodney. Nope, nothing. So that'll do it. 28-0, your final score. St. Paul's 8-2, UMS 8-2. Both teams looking out of the respective playoff matchups next week. Hadley for the Bulldogs and Demopolis for the Saints. And we'll wait to hear from Coach Mask. And those kids now 4 in a row. St. Paul's now leads the overall series between the two schools, 18-17. Next week or next year they will be playing in the same region, which the one thing I don't like about that is it takes away this great Week 10 game. I don't like that.
Will we be next week 10, right?
We'll figure that one out. Let's get ready for Pat Greenwood to catch up with Coach Mask, who's standing right behind Pat. I don't know how he's trying to get. Oh, our camera guy is cutting through the line. Vanya's and his grip needs some help to break through the. They need Josh Casher to open a hole for him there. Let's go, Pat Greenwood.
And good job by Vanya Kai getting through that line there. Nice job. All right, Coach, 28-0 again. Dominant performance for you guys. What was working well tonight?
Well, we came into it thinking we were going to pound the ball. With size advantage, and we did that. Our backs ran hard, offensive line did. And can't say enough about us defensively. I thought we swarmed real well and controlled the tempo of the game defensively.
Well, you have a lot of respect for UMS-Wright and what they do over there, too. Those guys played hard,
I'll tell you what, they played their guts off. They really did. And 32 is a heck of a football for them. I guarantee he is. And give Coach Curtis his bunch a lot of credit. They hung in there finally a little bit of olderness and strength paid off a little bit for us there late.
And lastly, as you get ready for the playoffs next week, how do you think you're prepared?
Well, we 8-2 this season's. So now what you got to do, you got to go into it with a one-game mindset. And I know you all coaches say that, but you better. If you get the bracket watching, you won't be around very well. So we'll try to go 1-0 next week and go from there after that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck, baby.
Always.
Appreciate it. All right, guys.
Steve Mask victorious here and runs his record to 2-0 in the big rivalry game up Old Shell Road. And now they'll get ready to go in the playoffs to open things up.
Yeah, when I visited Steve earlier in the week, I think, he likes his team, and we can see why he likes his team. Fairhope lost to start the season was really not a reflection of this because of the problem at quarterback. They weren't settled on the quarter. They thought they were. They had, erratic play. And early in the year, the young Mosley kid was trying to come along. They had to play Spanish Fort week 6. And that team's, they're a threat to just about anybody in the state. So watching them on a night like this in a rivalry game, yeah, they had, more of the Jimmies and Joes than UMS-Wright. But they still played strong, solid football, and they just give you an idea that not going to be an easy out either.
Here's our player of the game nominations. Austin McPherson had the big night. 28 carries. That's a lot of carries in a school football game.
It is.
170 yards, 3 touchdowns. Austin Mosley, 16 carries, 77 yards. And Tip Lyons defensively playing for the UMS-Wright Bulldogs.
Yeah, like his hair was on fire.
So go to local15tv.com and click on the high school football game of the week to vote, and we'll tell you all about that during our first round playoff matchup next week. So again, for Pat Greenwood on the sidelines, Brian Aaron here, our statistician in the booth, Jared Cox in the truck. He's Dan Brennan. I'm Jim Cox saying good night from Ervin S. Cooper Stadium, where St. Paul's makes it 4 in a row over their rivals on Old Shell Road.